Hey guys, podcast here because the Riot's essential, baby.
We are still in the studio for our Worst of Riot podcast. Our area is at a stay-at-home, but we're still able to come in to do work, and then we go stay at home.
This is our home, guys.
That's all we do.
This is our home.
You go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
So stuff in the podcast today, we talk about a baby and a toilet paper conspiracy. I went back into Iron Man 3 after yesterday's tweet off
discussion.
What to do with the news, hand washing, the end of a long national nightmare.
The hand washing still hurts a lot, guys. It's so dry. Everything's so dry.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Bad Boys, Half-Life Alex, dumb questions. Obadiah explains what's happening in Congress right now.
Yeah, you do an excellent job with that.
But, Nikki, it's because of you.
No.
You showed me.
I think it really ties into something that everybody's going to understand.
We get it. After today, we get it.
We understand. I mean, we knew that's how they did a lot of times, but now we really understand.
So you guys enjoyed today's podcast, and Nikki and I will we just going to keep trucking.
Let us know if are you home doing your work? Are you home during your classes? You can text us because that's acceptable during this time. You text 877-RADIO-U, or if you join us at RadioU Riot on our Facebook page, you can say hello and let us know how your enjoyment of the Worst of Riot podcast is still continuing.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
A Rotten Tomatoes score so high, they refuse to make it public. The Riot on Radio U.
We want to take a little time out and wish a very special someone a very special happy birthday.
Whose birthday is it?
We don't know. It was literally a birthday. Like a baby was born.
Oh, gotcha.
So, I mean, we celebrate birthday anniversaries. But this was a baby that was actually born in Springfield, Missouri, in the Walmarts, in the toilet paper aisle.
No.
And I'm telling you right now,
Aww.
a lot of people are like, oh, a baby's being born. No. Follow the money.
So back to the toilet paper.
This lady is all of the sudden, I'm having a baby in the toilet paper aisle, right? And while everyone's focused on her, all of the sudden the toilet paper just starts disappearing out the back.
But
out the back.
She actually
did. The back.
She did have the baby there.
Right, but it was they've just been waiting.
They've just been waiting.
She's been going to Walmart
No one's waiting for that. No one.
Standing in the toilet paper aisle. Waiting for that special moment when it would happen. And isn't there like something they can give you that makes you have the baby? Like makes you go into labor?
Yeah, that's at the hospital, though. I doubt you could get a hold of that. Even though they say you're supposed to walk
Mexican pharmacy, Nikki.
You're supposed to walk to start the process.
Yeah.
But I don't think one truly wishes to have their child in a Walmart toilet paper aisle.
Nikki, listen.
Because then you're always known for that. It'll never go away.
No, I understand what you're saying, but do you remember times when people are like, name your baby Oscar and get 1,000 years of hot dogs for free?
True.
So,
do they get anything or anything from Walmart or?
I don't know.
Anything from the toilet paper people?
The manager said it was a feel-good moment.
Oh, it is nice, I guess.
Yeah. But they also would like to know where all the toilet paper went.
During that time. I think people just use that as an opportunity. You're right. You're like, well, I'll just go walk over here.
Well, I'll tell you this. Like, there's a baby.
Did they name the baby like Charmin or something?
Oh, they really should. Shouldn't
Angel,
they?
like Angel Soft, and that's the only 2 toilet paper companies I know. Kirkland. It's not in Costco,
Kirk,
though.
that's their name. Kirk. Yeah, that's what we named him.
Mart.
So works for me. Sam Wall. After the founder of Walmart.
You get a first and a middle name.
Yeah. So I don't know, but she had the baby, and I still think it's part of an elaborate scheme to steal toilet paper. And some people are like, that's ridiculous. No.
These are ridiculous times with toilet paper.
Ridiculous times, Nikki.
People are doing anything still and everything to get a hold of it.
I went to the store yesterday. There was everything. They had everything you could want. Milk, honey, whatever. No toilet paper. Follow the money.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Guys, here's something we're going to have to do today. We're going to have to turn it off.
What do we have to turn off?
Well, whatever it is that's upsetting you.
What do you mean?
Hey,
oh, everybody.
yeah, you're just going to have to decide what that is. This morning I was on my way in to do the show. And as I was listening to I was just listening to something, and it was, these people were laying it out, and they weren't laying out facts, they were just laying out opinions.
Yeah.
And it was just so much. I was like, all right, guys, I love you, but I'm done. Like, I can't take this. I did the same thing with the news last night. In Ohio, the governor has a daily press conference. I watched the press conference, and then I hit a point in the press conference where I was like, you know what? I'm good. Like, I got all the information I needed. I'm going to have to stop here. And I think that's something that we're going to have to do. Now, I'm not telling you to be uninformed. I am not an advocate for ignorance on any level. However, I do think there is a point where we go from ignorance to morbid curiosity or obsession, where it's like, hey, we need to wind this back a little bit. Well,
I was talking to someone, and man, they have it on all the time, literally all the time. And that doesn't, I think it comes to a point where it no longer informs you. It doesn't help you the same way. Yeah. It kind of takes over.
Yeah. And so I would encourage you today. I'm not advocating ignorance. I think being informed is good. Like, you should know, like, that's not a bad thing, but I'll tell you what is bad is when it begins to eat at you and tear at you. And if you don't, this is going to sound even dumber, I guess, but like, if you don't know if it's doing that, it probably is.
Maybe.
Because what I did,
what we normally say about politics the rest of the time.
Yeah.
When you're taking too much in, that it's changing you.
Well, what I did yesterday was I very purposefully took a break for a few hours. I turned off my phone, no anything, like completely disconnected. And so then when I came back to it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. So maybe today you purpose to take a break. Mm-hmm. And that way, when you do go back, you'll have a bit of an idea of like, okay, this really is overwhelming in me, or maybe it's not. I'm sure there's probably somebody somewhere that can take it. But I hit a point yesterday where it's like, all right, I'm going to have to start, for lack of a better term, rationing my news intake, because at some point, like, this is too much. I've heard enough, and I need to take a break from it. So give yourself permission today to take a break from some of this news coverage. Not ignorance. This is just you saying, hey, I've heard enough.
Well, some people are like, well, I remember I saw someone who said, you don't take it seriously then. You're like, nope, I just got all the information already. I'm good for now. You just don't have to digest it all day.
It's not about, I actually am quite an advocate for taking it seriously. But there's an element of, just having the TV on. It goes past the point. This is, I think for me, a lot of times where it goes is that most of what passes for news in the United States these days is just editorializing. News are facts. Editorials are opinions and projections. And so what I see is a lot of people spending a lot of time just listening to editorials, thinking that they're staying informed when they're not. They're just listening to people saying what they think. I do not need that. What I'm looking for is give me the facts and then
take a break.
I'm just going to go back to work now.
Get some coffee.
I just got some.
Take a short, quiet walk.
Yeah.
Just something.
Because, again, other people's opinions are not necessarily going to protect you from the virus. You know what I'm saying? So protect yourself a little bit. Protect your brain a little bit today.
Wow. Not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on Radio U.
So, Nikki, talk to me about the box office. What is going on?
Well, at first, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is great. I was very curious how box office earnings would be reported from this past weekend, since so many, is it safe to say all movie theaters in the United States have closed down? Or maybe depending on your state,
all of them.
If it's not a chain, if it's more like a local one, it might still be open.
That would be my thought, that it's probably local businesses that are still open.
For a lot of states, though, or like for a lot of bigger ones like AMC, that closed down. Other ones
Others.
Others. Just put the one that's closed in your area in there.
Okay,
So,
what about, pause. While you're telling, what about Marcus, the one that we go to all the time?
in our area, they had to close down. So in our state,
So
it
they
depends
are
on
now.
your state.
Yeah,
yes.
okay, all right.
But if you're in a state that's not been hit with a stay at home or a closure for like the restaurants and, entertainment areas,
Right.
those might still be open, but I think most are closed.
Okay.
So I thought, well, maybe the numbers would just be so low. I never knew that, these theaters, for their weekend stuff, the movie companies decide if they want to unveil their numbers. So for the first time ever.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's not the movie theaters really doing it. It's, does Disney want to release it? Does this want to release it?
Okay.
So for the first time, all four of the big Hollywood studios, so Disney, Universal, Sony, Warner Brothers, decided against showing any earnings whatsoever.
They don't want you to know.
They don't want you to know. They don't want to have a negative number, a lower one. They don't want to show how low it can go. So if you look at box office, the weekend of the 13th through the 15th is technically the last one. And so this past weekend shows nothing.
Okay.
And that's how it'll show.
Oh. So no box office results
I wanted
to talk
to see
about.
what the numbers were going to be,
Right.
but they're not doing it.
They're not
They
going to.
refuse to send that out.
So Mikey says drive-in theaters, that's where maybe they made money over the weekend.
No.
Dude, you know what? I saw, I've got a friend of mine that lives in Las Vegas, and he posted that they went to the drive-in over the weekend.
They had that?
Yeah. They still have one.
But if their state gets hit with the stay at home,
yeah, you wouldn't be able to do
which
that.
seems to be where a lot of the states are going to doing,
Right.
Then no, you would not be able to. But they didn't care. They don't want to release the numbers.
I love the idea of a drive-in.
I've never been to one.
When I was really little, wow, another person named Mike, not in Pennsylvania, said also drive-ins. Two Mikes, two
There's a thing.
drive-ins.
You can do that.
You know what? I don't know. I went once. I've probably been more than once, maybe, but I know when I was really little, my dad would take me to the drive-in. Seems like maybe twice. I don't remember what we saw. I just remember that we got to go to the drive-in.
But you got to. I've only seen it from a movie, what it's like in that.
Sure.
But never in person. So again, it depends on your state because some theaters before, in our area, they all closed down.
Right.
They would do the social distancing by seats. So you would have every other row.
Yes.
They would sit you and they would show the other ones as sold so that someone couldn't sit there. But that, wasn't enough for all of them to stay open.
So, you know what? Nikki, we should go to the drive-in this weekend.
We're not allowed to.
Oh, that's right.
You can't. No.
What? I'm essential drive-in personnel.
Okay, we are essential personnel. We're at work this morning.
Yeah,
but
us going to the drive-in's not essential.
Is not, and nor would the people working at a drive-in movie theater would count as essential.
I don't know.
Despite everyone saying there's so many people that count as essential workers that shouldn't really.
We finally found an industry that is not considered essential.
You're not allowed to do that. And do we still have a drive-in in our area?
People are saying, yeah.
I thought we weren't supposed. I thought it was in a nice area.
South 40? Is that where it is?
Someone once told me, they're like, yeah, you can go, but just don't get out of your car. Okay. I guess that's the point.
Sure.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Here on the show yesterday, we discussed the fact that Iron Man 3 was trending on Twitter. And it was because people were arguing over whether Iron Man 3 or Thor 2 was the worst Marvel movie.
Which is such a weird thing that picked up over the weekend.
Well, people are bored.
Yeah, and I think they love to have a conversation about something that is not virus related, and that just happened to be the sweet spot right there.
Yeah, it was funny. I went ahead and tweeted that, and a lot of the... I love the fact that I don't feel like most people even discuss. They're just like, you're wrong and stupid.
And I hate you. And that is the response back for the tweet that you must have sent.
And that's it. I mean, that's not even a discussion starter. We can't... you have effectively not joined the conversation. You've killed the conversation.
Did you get a lot of hate then?
like not a ton, but I just had a few people that are like, no way, it's dumb.
It's especially hard if you use a hashtag and you're not getting response back from people that actually follow you.
Just the community at large.
Yeah, you're actually asking for a response back from someone who's following the hashtag.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be pretty.
It's true. But you know what? I got that. I had a few people not too happy. So last night, Iron Man 3 is on Disney Plus.
Is it?
It is. And so
is that the last Iron Man one?
It's the last that's just an Iron Man movie. Right. And so I sat down with it. I couldn't watch the whole thing because I didn't have time. I ran out of time last night, but I watched the first half of it and just absolutely loved it. Now, a lot of people's problems with it, and rightly so, come in the back half of the movie.
So you're not to the point where you could say, again, still strongly if you still like it.
Right. And I understand why people are, at least a particular part of the movie that people are unhappy with. But I think the depiction of Tony Stark and essentially his PTSD and all this stuff, I think it's fantastic. It's a great character piece, which is something that, a lot of times we just lean more towards... a little more bombastic, a little more whatever. I thought
if you're picking out an Iron Man or any of the Thor movies and you think they're bad, you haven't even watched a lot of stuff then.
Yeah, that's also true. I mean, it's a sliding scale.
Yeah, there's a long list that could be considered way worse. So I think we're just picking at something to pick.
The other thing that I did last night was I finished on Amazon Prime. They have a ton of riff tracks. Riff Tracks is the guys that used to, man, it's so much nerdier. It's like the guys that used to do Mystery Science Theater 3000. Some of them have gone on to do this.
Is that the podcast thing?
It is a podcast thing. But
where you play the movie and does it play over it or you have to start it over it?
It's like a commentary track that you play from your phone over the movie that you're watching. The funny, quote unquote, thing about it is they've gotten to a point now where for older movies, you can, Amazon just has them, so you can just watch them. So I watched this one last night called Icebreaker that had Sean Astin, the guy from Lord of the Rings and Goonies.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Campbell, the guy from, Evil Dead and I don't know what else.
Sounds good.
No, people know who he is.
No, I know. I even know who he is from Evil Dead stuff.
He's just one of those guys where, people know him. That... It was so bad.
It's from 2000? I'm looking at the art.
It was so bad. It had to be a made-for-TV movie. I didn't read up on it. I meant to read about it after that, but it had to be made for TV.
At the Killington Ski Resort, something has gone. That's the name of the ski resort?
It's the name of it.
Terrorists about it, yeah.
The movie doesn't make any sense. None. It makes no sense. It's crazy.
There's everything in it.
I enjoyed it so much. It's so much. But
in it's bad way.
I know.
Not like it's amazing. Just in case they're wondering. I don't want them then looking up going, well, Obi said it was good. What am I missing?
I enjoyed the Riff Tracks version of it. And you know what? I don't know what it is. For me, I guess bad movies are like comfort food for me. I'm yeah, instead of watching something that we can enjoy, let's watch something really bad that we can laugh at. And I enjoyed it.
You found one.
I definitely did.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
8772 Radio U.
You're welcome to text. Say hello. Let us know your name if you've never texted before. Are you at home today? Is this your first of some days that you'll be staying at home, or are you still out and essentially working?
Are you essentially working at Popeyes?
Well, this was interesting. Because food places still stay open, not to go in, but for the drive-through during even stay-at-homes for states.
Man, I'm still going to the drive-thru. I don't know if that's okay or not.
Remember, we want to support.
Yeah, that's right.
We want to help.
Supporting businesses.
We're supporting businesses.
By going to the drive-thru, guys. Come on.
I went to one the other day, and yeah, you should be wearing gloves, or they wear gloves when they especially take money and stuff.
I went to Cane's the other day, and they're just here, whatever.
Well, I went to one, the money part, and they were very relaxed, the windows wide open to get your money. It was very casual. And then I went to the next window, it was cracked open a tiny bit. They're throwing it out at you. It just depends on people's take on it.
They're putting a little chicken finger through the window one at a time.
They're here, this is all you get. I can't open the window.
Just going to have to take it. So Popeyes has got a thing going where they're saying that they're going to give you their Netflix password. This is actually a pretty good promotion. So the idea is this, is that you get some Popeyes chicken. You snap a pic of yourself and you post it on social media with the hashtag that password from Popeyes. Mm-hmm. They say the first 1,000 people to do that will get Netflix. Now, I don't know how long you get Netflix. Do you get it for
a trial or
month?
something?
Do you get it for a week? I don't have the details on that.
You'll
just
get a Netflix username and password, because it's not like they're using the same one, because there's only so many.
I'd like 4
Can
screens.
I get 1,000?
4 screens, guys.
No, they go to Netflix. They're like, how much do we need for 1,000 screens?
Yeah, what's the monthly users on that? What's that?
I think it's a great promotion, but what do you think I'm going to say?
Everybody has a big butt, Nikki.
Oh, well, I mean, we are eating a lot of chicken.
Tell us about Popeye's big butt.
No, the only issue I see with this is great promotion. It looks amazing on paper, but we all have Netflix.
Oh, I see.
So are you giving us, like, what do we get to do? Can we cancel our other one for the few months or just put on hold and then use this one?
Nikki, we don't all have Netflix.
We all use someone's password for it. We already have someone who shared their password.
There may be something to that. In this world, you're either a Netflix provider or you're a Netflix skimmer.
Exactly.
So I am a provider, but Nikki is apparently a skimmer. Thanks a lot, Nikki.
No, I have my own.
Okay.
I have my own. Thank you.
If you say so.
And I don't share my password. Once you open that door, it's very hard to close it, especially to family and friends.
Hey,
they'll come after you for it.
I have one family member that I let use my password, but if I did, like, if word got out,
yeah,
I could never log in because I have family members who try to trick me into giving them my password.
Oh no, you see the worst, you know.
Here's what I think's amazing. Like, oh, don't get me started. Like, yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm the guy that works for the nonprofit, blah, blah, blah.
And you're the one?
I'm the one that should really be paying for your Netflix, right? I know.
And this is like older people who are doing this. They should not be doing this. You should be paying for it on your own.
Will you install it on my tablet?
So I guess if you did win one of the Netflix usernames and passwords from Popeyes, then you could just put yours, like I said, on hold.
Yep.
And then use this one until it goes, expires, and then save a few months on Netflix.
Hey. You know what? Save a few bucks. And that'd be more money for chicken.
Which is what Popeyes is wanting you to do.
Hey, man, I'll take some chicken right now.
What is the password you're supposed to use?
The hashtag is...
That password from
Popeyes.
But you have to be posting a photo of yourself eating Popeyes somewhere on social media with that hashtag, and 1,000 people will get the username.
All right, so Andrew says hashtag skimmer, hashtag no shame.
No shame, then. That's fine.
Good. Dude, I don't want you to be ashamed. I just want you to contribute, okay?
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I just want to say hey to Angela and Luke and John enjoying eggs for breakfast.
Yeah, it looks like they're in Vermont. Doesn't that look nice?
Eggs for breakfast.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We do sometimes have eggs, but when we get up as early as we do, it's not like you're in the kitchen usually making a breakfast like that.
No.
So you might just grab something like a hard-boiled egg or something else.
And something that was hard-boiled yesterday.
I know. Something you did the weekend before.
What did I... Oh, I had toast this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like,
Someone brought in bagels. Those are in there.
I wish I had noticed that first. But Nikki, the great thing about appetites is once you meet one, there's another one coming.
And remember, during this time of stress for everybody, no matter if you're still able to work or if you're not working, if you're at home, if you're not doing classes, your body's going to really be wanting those carbs.
Oh, yeah.
So we were talking yesterday about, a lot of people are just having these cravings, and that's based on, we're all stress eating.
Yes,
and it's
absolutely.
a total normal thing for your body to want to do during something big that's going on.
Yeah.
So go have the second bagel.
You know what? I'll say yesterday, if you'd asked me, hey, are you really stressed about what's going on? I've been like, I don't know. Not really, whatever. But time for true confessions, guys. Yesterday, in the middle of my workout, I just started crying.
Oh, yeah.
I was just working out. I'm just like working out. I'm fine. I got my music going, whatever.
Are you on your elliptical?
I was.
You were.
I was on Abe Lincoln's elliptical.
He's got an old elliptical. It's because you can't go. You're not at the gym.
I got this 25-pound weight. I use that. It's not very heavy.
Or you go run outside. You got nothing else.
So yeah, I just started crying, and I was just like, "What is this salty discharge? Like, why am I crying?
I'm leaking.
What's happening?"
It's like, what am I doing?
But you know what? It's just a moment of just like, just realizing there are a lot of things that are going on in a lot of different areas of my life, and just trying to hold it together, just trying to like maintain that, like, hey, everything's fine, I'm good, whatever, and just having this moment of just, I don't know, like it just hit me. It hit me really hard, just in a moment. And so I would just say to you, whether you know it or not, you're probably carrying a lot around.
People are more affected or stressed than maybe you realize right at this moment.
Yeah. And so here's something that I did is, you know what, I just took a minute and I stopped and I took some time and prayed about it. And I was like, all right, God, here's what's going on. So God and I kind of had a moment where we talked through. And you know what's funny is the stuff I was saying to God was just like, you know what, I don't feel like there's anybody that I can turn to. I feel like I have to do this all by myself, and on and on and on. And I just kind of talked to God through some of that. And, it's funny that sometimes when we start saying our feelings out loud and understand them, we realize like, oh, that's not true. I don't have to do this on my own. I can lean on God to help me. And I'm surrounded by other people that are also doing the same thing. I'm not doing the riot alone. Nikki's here with me, same time, right? I'm not doing whatever. Like, there are people all over. We're in this together. So you know what? Even if you feel very alone, and it's okay, feel it for a moment, but then take a little fact to that feeling. And it's like, hey, you know what? I'm actually not alone. I'm not doing this by myself. We actually can make it. It is going to be okay. And spend some time inviting God into your day. And you know what? If you're feeling it a lot and it's hitting you really hard, don't be mad at yourself. That's okay too. If you're not feeling it a lot, that's okay too. It's okay to be where you are today and just take a little time. Ask God to be with you where you are. That's the great thing that Jesus invites us into, is that we get to have a relationship with God, with whether or not we're having a great day or maybe a not so great day. Whether there's a COVID-19 or there's nothing, God is still there with us. So you don't have to do this by yourself. If you don't have a relationship with Jesus, just come on. Just say, Jesus, I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. God, I need your help. And here's where I'm at today. Like, really think about it. If God could do anything for you today, what would you really need? And I don't just mean a pony, but like, what do you actually need on the inside? And ask God to help you.
The only morning show brave enough to say that Chicken McNuggets are part of a balanced breakfast. The Riot on RadioU.
Friends, our long international nightmare is over. I mean, I probably don't need to remind you that we received the terrible, heart-wrenching news from Apple last week that they were limiting iPhone purchases to only 2 people at a time. Or you can only 2 phones at a time.
I feel like there's just different levels of the world and different layers, and some people go and buy more than one phone and they keep it.
You know how it is? You hit the mall, blow through the Apple store, buy 10 or 15 phones, just whatever. Because you're just, feeling cute, might buy 15 phones, I don't know.
Might delete or return later.
Who knows? And then Apple went and just totally encroached on your freedom. You can only buy 2 phones.
Well, they're making sure that they have enough to go around while production on certain things. Yeah, production is down. They're not able to create as much.
Because so many people have $2,600 burning a hole in their pocket.
To buy the 2.
I need 2. Hey, listen,
Did they make another announcement or what?
They did. They're no longer throttling the purchase of phones. So,
okay, does that mean enough people were mad then?
I don't know what it means.
Who is buying all these phones?
Well, like I said, you go to the mall, you buy a few phones.
No, if you're buying that many, you're not going to the mall.
What are you talking? Why not?
I know the Apple Store's there, but you're not going. They're coming to you.
You know what? Then I go to the...
I don't know what you're doing, but...
Something wonderful, Nikki. You're doing something wonderful.
I guess if you want to buy two, or maybe it's for a company and you're buying it for your employee. Like, I don't know the situation.
So I'll just tell you that I'm sorry if you're listening from China, but that restriction is going to stay in place in China.
Oh, there it is?
You'll only be able to buy 2 iPhones per person.
Now, I know in past times when certain phones would be released in certain parts of the world, it was common to go and buy up so many of them, and then you go and resell them to different areas. I know that used to be a thing, but now they kind of do more of a worldwide release, so I don't think that's still something.
Well, you can go back to buying a bunch of them if you want.
But not there.
I'll take a bushel of iPhones.
You're not going to.
Can I get a half a pack? What do you guys have back there? So it's just, I just know in these difficult times, this is great news.
Is it? It's a relief to finally have this taken care of.
Such a relief to know that later today, I'm going to be able to get all the iPhones.
Does anybody work at an Apple store? Like, has someone come in and bought a bushel of phones or a lot of them? Is that more common than we think it is, and why are they doing it?
I don't know. Let's see. Janet just texted. She says some of those, more than 2 people are holding on to them until Apple stops making them and selling them on eBay.
Maybe.
So what? Like, you would sell an iPhone 11 at a premium?
People were doing this before. This isn't really associated with, well, for the virus to keep there from being as many Apple phones to sell, I understand why, but people were buying more than one before this all started.
Man, it's a good thing I bought my used iPhone before it all hit.
You got a good deal on yours, you did.
I got a good deal on it, on a reasonable used car. Phone.
How could you only buy one, though?
It's the same price.
Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Yesterday, I don't know, my brain must just finally be catching up because I kept turning to people and being like, I had the weirdest dream. There was a national pandemic and they were shutting stuff down.
Like, you just woke up from that.
Like,
and it's still going on.
What a weird dream. And I would get wrapped up in something like whatever I was doing. And then it was like, can you guys has anybody ever had a dream where they made this thing up and we were all like, ah, and then, oh.
Did you tell this to a lot of people yesterday or just a few?
I had that conversation 3 times.
3 times, okay.
Yeah,
and how did it go?
They were like, I know, right? Totally. I get what you're saying. Because, I don't know, maybe I'm just slow on the uptake, but I don't know, every once in a while I'll look around and I'm like, I don't know, the world looks fine. Like, it's fine.
You're not supposed to look around. You're supposed to do it.
I'm just telling you, that is the ignorance that you're dealing with my child brain, where I'm just like, I don't know, seems okay.
Seems okay to me.
Fine.
Nope, you're supposed to follow the rules.
I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just saying that my brain, somewhere deep inside, I am right now trying to reconcile what I'm being told with what I'm seeing, and,
just trying to put it all together.
I am, and I'm doing all the right things. I've washed my hands till they're like raw.
I know. We still need to get lotion out. We have here like all the cleaners that you're supposed to do because, we can still come to work. We are essential. So even during a stay at home, RadioU gets to, this is our home for that time.
I love you.
But we don't have any lotion because every time you wash your hands so much, you really do need it.
I have been putting lotion on my hands, but I'm like broken out.
Oh, yeah, you have it too? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yours is really bad.
It is.
Almost makes like eczema and stuff and like a skin rash.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I am whatever. So it's fine. It's fine. I'm just looking forward to waking up, and then we can put this all behind us.
It won't be a problem.
It's no big deal.
Well, if you are working from home, if you're doing your classes from home, or if you're still at work, you're welcome to text us and let us know what your day looks like. You can send it to 877-2-RADIO-U or find us on Facebook, both pages. There's Radio U, and then our show page is Radio U Riot. You can always message us and send us a story if there's something you want us to cover.
And we'll just be here.
Yes. You really need lotion. Your hand looks terrible.
I have been putting lotion on it.
I want to find something.
You know what I think I probably need? I probably need medical lotion.
You need the hydrocortisone cream thing. You need that.
Because I'm all broken.
I'm going to set a reminder. I'm going to bring you some in tomorrow.
I think I have some probably.
Just in case we don't remember. One of us is bringing it in tomorrow.
I just want you to know I took my temperature this morning.
You did?
So
yes.
Some things, I'm remembering some things.
Someone yesterday was like, why you guys take your temperature? We're supposed to take our temperature before.
Because the governor said so.
We're supposed to take our temperature, and so did our boss. Like, work-wise, you're supposed to take your temperature before you come into work, or technically right before you come into the building. And then you're supposed to check it sometimes through the day.
Yeah. Did you see Chris's text? He says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm so jealous of those that are working from home that I've started homing from work.
Are you setting it up so it's like home?
He's just he's walking around in his bathrobe.
Yeah, not everybody's in at workplaces, so I know some people are
it is a
bringing their
laid
pets
back.
in, or you're going in in your PJs and stuff.
It's fine.
Well, Chris, I'm sorry, I guess, then you're not working from home, are you?
Mike says, I'm a commercial electrician, at least here in Virginia. Construction will stay going until we're forced to stop. Yep. No, that's the same most places. So there you go.
All right. Thank you.
Feeling good.
For texting Mikey and Chris.
You know where we are.
In case you're wondering, yes, we do get complaints.
They have gone too far. This time, they are going to be held accountable.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki and I will say, we're gonna stay here. We're gonna keep at it.
You mean we come into work, so we're gonna stay here? Is that what you're meaning?
What did you think I meant when I said that? You felt the need to clarify.
I don't know. Well, I want people to realize, by here we mean here in the studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for complete honesty. I have locked the doors to this room, and Nikki is not allowed out.
There's no way to leave. This is the new normal.
When I said Nikki and I are staying here, we are going to be riding out the majority of this national crisis directly in this room together.
Surprise! Hey! You're not allowed to. You can't lock us in here.
Yeah, I can.
No, you can't. There's no lock on the door.
I already did it.
I just went out to get a drink.
I know, but it's one of those locks that comes up from the floor inside the door.
Great.
You're stuck in here.
Great.
The more I talk about it, the more she's like, I'm going to go check the door right now.
I just want to go back over there. No, I don't mind being here for you guys, but I don't want to stay here all the time.
It's nice. The walls are already padded. The walls are already padded.
Then eventually when the show's over, we got to watch all the movies that you wanted us to watch, and I never wanted to. And that's what it's going to be like during the stay at home, but our home is here in the studio.
And then she has to start acting like she likes them, so we'll get
just
along.
So you'll stop playing
She's
them?
Like, no, I really liked Wrath of Khan. It was the 10th time that it really, that was when it really hit me that this is great cinema.
Oh, you want to watch it again? Oh, great. Okay.
Well, it is during my scheduled nap time, so why don't you just go ahead without me?
No, suddenly I'm just sleeping the whole time. I was just really tired. Just close my eyes, even though I'm not actually sleeping.
So there's that. I will tell you that we took home, did you take home yesterday your emergency survival kit?
I did not. I am so close to where I don't think I need. They haven't given me a box yet.
Oh, they haven't?
No, because I live right down the road from Radio U. So if anything happens.
Almost like you live here.
I know.
Why don't you just move in?
I could why don't I?
No big deal.
I could practically walk here or take a bike if needed. So I don't know if I'm getting one.
Okay, well I definitely did.
You're farther away. You need one.
I got the box and the microphone and all that stuff so that if, it started to go south.
Well, here in our studio area, there's a stay-at-home, but we actually do count it as essential stuff because we're here to tell you
I got the paperwork to prove it.
I know we have these papers. No one's going to ask you for it, but just in case, you're supposed to carry around these papers.
Just in case the commies try to stop me.
No,
where are you going, comrade?
That's not.
I'll tell you.
Go to work. That's not it.
I'm a sovereign citizen.
No. Oh, my gosh. Don't ever do that. This time. I've seen those YouTube videos. Don't do
they're
that.
The worst.
They always break the glass. Don't do it.
They break the glass, and sometimes they put the dog in there with you.
Oh, don't do that.
Drag you out.
Don't. We're not supposed to add work to the police officers right now. You're just going to go into work, and then you go home, and then you isolate.
That's all.
That's all you do.
That's all.
Oh, my gosh. Until you said that. It's like, oh, no, don't do that. No.
Nikki's like, it's fine. I'll be locked in here with you. Please don't go out and tell them you're a sovereign citizen. Please don't do that.
I didn't even think about people doing that. They're not wanting to even follow the rules.
Oh, no, that's a whole thing.
Jeez. Don't you understand? If you don't follow the rules to the best of your ability, that's why they have to keep layering on more and more stuff.
That's why, like, what you're saying, we brought this on ourselves.
No, I'm just saying I saw a lot of people in groups of 10 or more that should not have been together. And if we wouldn't have been doing that, maybe we wouldn't have to have all these things.
We saw a whole herd of runners this morning. You were just like, guys.
I saw a group of ladies. They were out running with all these neon things. They were running like right next to each other. I was like, space yourself. You're supposed to space yourself.
You know what? Maybe they all live together.
I don't think so. I think it's a running group.
Maybe. But maybe they all live together and then they all run.
Are they stuck in their home
too? There's a sorority. There is sorority.
No, it seemed like they were older ladies.
But that's the new hotness is like old sorority.
And schools are closed, so you're not staying there.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
I think they weren't following the rules.
That's ridiculous. And you know
but
what?
I didn't feel like yelling out the window.
Maybe I don't want to live in here with you where it's going to be all judgmental. Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I'll just unlock the door right now.
That's how I'll defeat you.
I don't have room for you, me, and your judgmental attitude in here.
Worst of the riot. Radio U.
I've got great news. And you're like, what? I thought there was like all bad news. Wrong.
We actually have something good.
You ready for this? They have moved up the digital release of Bad Boys for Life.
Is that the good news you have?
So now, instead of having to wait until the middle of April to see Bad Boys for Life, you will be able to see it on next Tuesday on digital platforms for monies.
For monies?
Yeah, you got to.
So on Tuesday the 31st.
Yeah.
The Bad Boys Day of 31st.
Bad Boys Tuesday.
Tuesday will be it. That's what
right.
everybody's doing for releases. So there's two ways. You either had a movie that was out in like January, February that you would have waited a few more months for to digitally be able to purchase or then buy the Blu-ray. Those are now being pushed up sooner to try to sell them since everybody's staying home more and they need more entertainment.
Right.
Or you're now still getting theatrical releases that can't go into any theaters because there's no theaters still open that are releasing for a video on demand.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Nikki.
So you get more choices. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it'll change the landscape of movies.
Sure.
When this all recovers and we go back to being pretty much the way it was. I think that'll bring releases to video on demand more often or at least faster to us.
Okay. So I think you're right. I think we're definitely seeing something that is going to change. There are probably quite a few things that'll change, but our entertainment being one of the things that is going to be different. So
traditionally you had to have a certain amount of time where it would not be and it could still be in theaters. So there was usually, I think it was like a 3-month window.
It's usually 90 days. And
90 days.
Is what that comes down to is that's a deal between movie theaters and the movie studios where they basically sign a deal that, hey, you can't release this anywhere until this. And one of the reasons they put it on digital first is they are trying to get us all in the habit of buying movies digitally and not physically. And most people are on board for that already. A bunch of weirdos like me out there.
So you might not have had to wait the full 30 days for the digital release.
Right.
But now they're pushing everything earlier.
Yeah, it's actually tempting. Movies that I would wait to buy physically, they keep putting them out and they're like, yeah, it's a month early. And you're like, oh, you're killing me.
Well, the one for Onward was only in theaters for like 2 weeks.
Well, but I can't, I'm not buying something. That's the other thing that gets me is they're like, oh, yeah, $20 to rent it for 2 days. And I'm like, listen, if you want me to pay you $20 to rent a movie, you're going to have to come with something way better than The Invisible Man.
Onward was different. Onward, you could actually buy it starting last
Friday.
Friday.
You could? Okay.
That was not just a video on demand. Disney went all out with it. They said you could buy it, and then you only have to wait until April 3rd if you just want to watch it on Disney+. So you might as well just wait it out.
That's a week and a half.
Yeah, but not everybody has Disney+.
I got time. I got time and Disney+.
I know, you're fine to wait that one.
I mean, I'm Truth be told, I don't really care about Onward, but you know what? I'll watch it, sure.
If there was some releases that you wanted to see in theaters at the end of last year to the beginning of this year that you did not see, keep an eye out. It might be out earlier than you thought it was going to be.
Tell you what we should do, Nikki. Here's your $1 million idea. Everybody has a podcast, but you and I should start another podcast. There's Worse the Riot. Or maybe we just make it a segment on the show where every other day we have like our COVID cinema, and we look for a movie.
Oh, our check-in of what's being released.
It's like, well, no, we pick a movie that we watch, and then everybody watches it with, and then we discuss it. So it's like movie club.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, we should, but we won't because we'll never watch it.
No, let's not do it every day, though.
No. You do it like every other day or maybe even once a week.
We still have work, so it's not like I have way more time, but I think if we did a once-a-week movie that we're supposed to watch and then check in.
Right. And then everybody's like, I can't believe you suggested that people watch that movie because there's one part where this guy and you guys are supposed to be better than that.
Of course, someone's going to ruin it.
You know what? Forget it. We killed the idea before it even took off. It's dead.
Not, you
it's dead.
You have to pick an old enough movie where it's okay. You're like, it was an old movie. They didn't know.
I gave during the last fundraiser, and all I got was this crappy morning show. This is The Riot on listener-supported Radio U.
I will have to say I've officially crossed over into the regret category. I regret selling my Oculus Rift.
You do?
I do.
Oh, it's because you're at home more.
That's part of it.
That's why.
And you know what happened today? The people at Valve released their first Half-Life game in... like 15 years or whatever, but the reviews for it, this is a game that only plays in virtual reality, and it's only on the PC.
Well, even back 15 years ago, you were saying? Or?
No. They did this, like Half-Life 2 is regarded as like this...
It's a classic
game
older
changer,
game.
like all this kind of stuff. Well, this is a game that is a prequel to that, but it's VR only, and it's only on the PC. And it launched today.
You have a PC?
I know. And the reviews are like absurdly high. Like people are just going nuts about this game. And I'm just like, it's cool.
Well, you had the newer Oculus.
I did. I had the Oculus Rift S.
Oculus got bought by Facebook, even though I think, did they sell it or they're just not? They're not.
They're still
there.
They're still pushing away at it.
I don't know if it performed as well as they were hoping it to be, but not everybody's jumped into VR yet.
Well, they say this is the one.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the game that people are going to go crazy over in VR, which, I mean, is it really? I don't know. But I'll tell you this. When I saw the stuff for it last night, I was like, no.
Finally a game. Why did you come out when I don't have you anymore?
I went through when I sold my VR headset, which I did. I sold my VR headset and I bought a nicer TV because I was like, you know what? I barely play VR. Every time I play games, I play them on my TV. Why not sell this, take that money, sell my existing TV and buy a nicer one? That's what I did. But this has been the one that I'm like, dude.
Yeah, but if you got it, you'd stop playing it after a while. And then you'd be in the same boat.
I know. It's the smart play. I made it.
You need to have a group of friends where you have shared custody of it, and you take it like 1 week a month.
You know what?
You all split the price of it, and
that's
you rent it every
smart.
month from each other.
That's actually smart. So every month we each get.
Yeah, you pay a rental fee to each other.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea because the reality of it is you do, at least I did. I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to play this thing.
But 1 week would be a nice sweet spot.
It would be.
And
You'd
then
be excited about it.
Yeah, and then it goes to your friend for the next week.
Yeah.
And then it keeps going after.
After 3 weeks, you'd be like, man, I'm ready to have it back. And then if you set up an account where you like shared all your games.
You could do that. Oh, it could be like the Brotherhood of the Traveling VR.
It's perfect. I love it.
But, I mean, you don't want it the whole month. You're going to get tired of it again. You're not going to play it. It's going to sit there.
I'm not buying one.
I just want to stop this before it goes on because a lot of us are spending money because we're at home and we have more time and you think you're going to use this, but this is not forever and we're eating things we shouldn't and we're buying things that we shouldn't.
You're not lying.
And this is how we're coping, so I didn't want you to go and buy it again.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I was just talking about missing the fact that I wish I still had my
your VR headset.
My VR headset, and Nikki said, "Don't," because people are buying things they don't need, eating things they don't need, et cetera, et cetera. And dude, tell me you haven't done that before, where like you're, I don't know, whether
this is a stressful time.
Yeah, and you just go ahead and you're buying things that you need, and then you just throw a laptop on. Or you just throw, like, you buy, or for me, maybe it's like you throw a movie on. You're like, whatever, it's $20 more. I'm just going to get it. And you do that and do that. And I just want you to know that that is exactly what's happening in Congress right now. It's
a reflection of how, you're doing, like if you have a stay at home, or if your classes have been canceled, or if you're having to do it all at home. That's currently how it is everywhere else. We're buying everything to fill the time.
That's what's happening. And let's be clear. Both parties are doing this, and they're fighting the war in the media and all this stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But they're like, they know that the country is about to spend a ton of money. Money it doesn't have, money it's going to borrow. They're going to spend a ton. And so they know that when all this money is about to go out, they've got a chance for their pet project to get hidden in that mess.
Which they always do anyways, but this is on a different scale.
Always. It's on a different scale. And part of the difference is people are really paying attention right now. And so I understand, again, I'm not trying to be partisan, but that's what this is. This is all of them being like, well, you know what, we're spending $2,000. That VR headset's only $300. Just throw it
in there.
We'll make it $2,300. What's $2,300, $2,000? What's the difference? Who cares?
Instead of making the food you bought already, we're just having people bring it to us.
Yeah, because, like they might shut the restaurants down. Might as well just go ahead and get some pizza.
Order now.
I did that Sunday night. I was like, man, they're shutting everything down. Order pizza. Well, I still can.
Order extra so I can have it during the week.
I did.
You did do that.
Instead of a large, I bought an extra large.
I know you want leftovers.
Put it in little baggies. They're in the fridge right now. Might go home and have some for lunch. Who knows?
I understand. We see what they're doing, is what you're saying. And we know what they're doing.
Right. And there is an element of like, we're the ones that are getting screwed over. I get that. But, oh my gosh, nobody cares. They don't care about us. Like, they're just like, listen, I got to get this racetrack built, or like whatever the heck it is. They're just throwing it on. They're like, the credit card's out. I'm going to try to get something on that credit card.
Before everybody goes and finishes it.
And you know what, Nikki? If that's what the leaders are doing, why don't I just do that myself?
We cannot. You're right, because I need them to tax me so I can pay for their credit card. Now's the time. You got to recognize what we're spending money on.
You're right.
And just because Amazon's still coming, though it might be later, you still have to watch what all we're ordering.
See, guys, Nikki's bringing some truth
I only
to
know
our
that
emotional buying.
Well, I paid my credit card bill. I was like, wow, that's a lot of Amazon. Wow. And it really has been in the last week and a half.
Really?
So it seems to all be around that time when I've been home more.
It's interesting.
So I just have to be aware. And sometimes it's all you need to do is just understand what might be going on.
It can be really hard. But you know what? You just need to...
And I also bought ice cream, so that also is just an aware thing.
That's a sign.
Just something.
Ice cream's good.
It is good. You just have to be aware.
It's like,
Is it an everyday order?
It's a sometimes food, Nikki.
It's not. I almost DoorDashed it.
Oh my gosh.
It was only because it's going to take 40 minutes. I said no.
Hey, so what do you think of Obadiah?
The truth is, he's not a very nice person.
Okay, well, what about Nikki?
The very best there is.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
You know what? This is how off-air Nikki and I are talking, and I think I figured out how we end up with like authoritarian regimes. And it's like this. It's not because somebody wants to take over and be the boss. It's because people keep asking questions.
And wondering.
Because Nikki's like, okay, in the UK,
they unveiled their rules yesterday.
They're like, okay, you can go out to exercise once a day.
Time.
But you're still allowed to go out and get food.
So for that, you could technically go out as much as you want, as many times. They don't put a limit on that, but the food is fair game.
That's how we have problems. People are like, they say that, look, okay. You guys can go out and get food, go out and get exercise, but please don't come outside that much. And then there's that one hand that goes up in the back. Okay, so I eat 6 meals a day, And so that means can I go out 6 times a day and then I can go out one more time for exercise? So technically you're saying I can still go out for 7 times a day. Facepalm. Okay, let me explain it to you again. We don't want to make the rules too stringent because we don't want to have to, enforce the rules. So if everybody could just use common sense and just go out.
That's the problem.
All right, there goes another hand in the back. Yeah. Okay, so if I go running and while I'm running, if I go get my lunch while I'm out for my run.
Does that count?
That's one trip, but technically I should still have a second trip stored up because I didn't go out and get my So can I go for another walk because I need exercise outside?
It was just the one exercise thing that got me, the fact that they would specifically say one time.
They're just...
Where here, if your state is under a stay-at-home, a lot of people are a little upset about the people that are exempt from. There's so many people that are exempt from it in the food industry.
Yeah.
Whereas perhaps if that was a bit more limited, because they're saying a lot of workers are mad because their bosses are still making them come in to work in the food industry when really they should also be closed too.
Listen, I'm just telling you that this is why I could never be in government. And this is where authoritarianism comes from. They're just like, look, everybody shut up. You get to go out one time. We tried to give you just some real simple guidelines, but you had to keep asking dumb questions.
No, you had to keep going out. You're not supposed to go out unless you need to, but the one exercise time, the fact that they said that was one time, but you could go out and eat.
If you come out, we're tasing everybody. Everybody that's on the street gets tased.
That's not us, and that's not in the UK either.
I know. I'm just saying.
Well, someone's going to say that they heard you say it, and then they're going to be concerned.
You're right. I will say, watching a press conference yesterday, people are asking questions, and I'm just like, isn't the answer obvious?
Stop. Not supposed to. Just stop.
It's don't you just know?
Just be safe depending on what you have, where you work. Just follow the rules and try your best.
Here's the thought. I'm going to throw this out there. Err on the side of caution.
That's good.
If you're I went out for my exercise while I was out, I also got my lunch. All right, then maybe today you just went out one time.
You don't have to go out for lunch.
Instead of it being I still have a punch on my punch card. Just read a book or something.
So
I don't know.
Every area is different also. This was just the UK when it was just weird. You're I can only exercise one time, but food, we're good on that.
But I eat 6 times.
And again, we're all stress eating. I'm sure they are there too.
So I can just whatever, right? Hey, Nikki and I are here, so if you guys have any more questions you want us to answer, 877-2-RADIO-U.
In our area, we know the rules here, but I don't know if we can help every area.
I just want you to know you're really not going to like my answers. I'll answer your questions for you.
We're just coming in for work, and then we go right back, and that's it.
This is Bob from the Examiner. Oh, great, the idiot from yesterday. Sir, I can still hear you.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
Listen, I love this. This is not, you should not be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean I'm not going to laugh about it. We all would basically we all want what we can't have, right? If you told me that I was getting paid vacation, I'd be like, man, I want to go to work. I'm essential. But when you're essential, I want to go home and get paid.
You don't want to be at work.
So, everybody's got their whatever. We had a guy here named Jeff. He's in Inman, South Carolina. And oh my gosh, he created for himself a fake doctor's note.
He did?
Yeah. And he presented it to say, hey, I have the coronavirus, so I can't come into work.
Oh, so he took it he sent it to his office?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what this is.
He took it all the way.
Yeah.
See, that's not what you do.
You're not supposed to do this. You're ruining it for people.
That was dumb. You're supposed to call the office with symptoms, not with a fake doctor note. If you call with symptoms, then there's enough gray area that they can't like for sure.
Remember trying to get out of work and stuff like that. You shouldn't be lying about the coronavirus. But just let's say if it was just the flu or you were back to, remember March Madness, and remember everybody tried to get out sick on that
Walking
stuff,
pneumonia.
You have to lay the groundwork, a firm foundation to show your work that you're not feeling good.
Hey, Michael. Hey, this is Pete. I don't think I'm going to be able to come in today.
But it's the first day of March Madness. It has nothing to do with that.
Walking pneumonia, so I can't make it.
But for him, I mean, they're taking the coronavirus so seriously that I don't think if you had it, they would just be giving you a doctor's note.
Get a load of this, okay? He has been charged with breach of peace and forgery.
Sure.
So he got a $10,000 bond. He's been fined $200. And by the way, fired from his job.
So I'm sorry, did he get arrested then? Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So
if you would have lied about that any other time, you probably wouldn't have gotten all that. But they're not going to just let that go away.
Well, here's what I think is interesting is he would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. And I'm not No, I'm not kidding. He went to his kid's school. Someone at the school had heard that he had the coronavirus.
Oh, from like work or something?
When they saw him at the school, they called the health department immediately.
Whoa!
Boom!
And it all unraveled from there.
And it all blew up from there.
And then he got in trouble.
Yep.
Wow. Guys, you can't possibly go into that thinking you would not be found out.
It was it was a great idea. He got so close. So close.
Just go to work or just ask if you can work from home.
No, neither one of those are necessary, Nikki. I told you what to do.
I don't know it was in South Carolina. I'm not sure what their rules are right now.
You call in with fake symptoms. That's how you do it. Because then you don't know. And if you suddenly recover, you didn't lie about it.
For the coronavirus, they're going to hammer you hard with that if you lie about it. You'll still lose your job.
No, I told you fake symptoms. Because if you call in with symptoms, they're not going to come over and check on you. And they can't risk having you come in.
So then you would never actually.
Wait, hang on.
You're fine. They would.
You don't know.
You took your temperature this morning, even though people are like, that can't tell you. No,
I'm revealing all my secrets. I need to stop.
You're not. You're fine.
You don't know.
Okay, stop saying that. Then that makes everybody worried. Come on.
I am fine. I'm kidding. But
right, we don't lie. This is not when we should be lying.
All right.
Lie at other times. Save it for later.
Lie about other things. Like I'm having a great day.
Yes, lie about the other stuff, but we don't lie about this.
Good call, Nikki.
Because they want to track down if you do have it, where you've been, who you've been around, and you cannot lie about this.
She ain't lying.
See? I live the life.
Come on.
Because I'm not lying either.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
Boy, I could use a carb right now.